Graphing lines from slope-intercept form. After watching this video, I will be able to identify the slope and y-intercept given an equation. The key concept for this lesson is to understand what slope-intercept form means. So basically, whenever we have a linear equation, there are different ways of writing it. We've seen equations that are considered linear equations, like 4x plus 5y equals 10. This is a linear equation, but it's written in standard form. Standard form means that your x and y is on one side of the equal sign and your constant is on the right side. So the standard equation, A, B, and C, all capital letters, represent numbers. So this is the formula for a standard equation. A, B, C are constants, numbers, x and y stay as variables. Slope-intercept form is a special form of a linear equation where we are written y equals mx plus b. Your m represents the m as in slope. And your b, lowercase b, represents your y-intercept. So the m and b in this form of equation are just numbers, and y and x remain as variables. Whenever we are written an equation written in slope-intercept form, we can quickly identify the slope and the y-intercept. We need to remember that x and y are just variables that are there to represent any number, any set of ordered pairs that is true for the equation. So what makes the equation unique to a specific line is the slope and the y-intercept. If I wanted to identify the slope, that would be my m. So that would be the number in front of the letter x. So m, or slope, is equal to -5/3. And then my y-intercept would be whatever is in the b spot. So my b, or y-intercept, would be -1. You want to make sure you write all of this down to help you remember slope-intercept form. And you want to write down what the slope mean, describes the line. Are we going uphill, downhill? Are we remaining constant? It describes where and then the y-intercept that describes where the line crosses the y-axis. So here I want to identify slope and y-intercept given the equation. So my slope, or my m, is going to be 7 because that's the number that's in front of my x. And then my b, or my y-intercept, is going to be -3 because that is a number that is by itself. It's in the b spot. For this example, it looks a little different than the previous two because we do not have a number after x. We have y equals, we have mx, but we don't have a b. So I can identify the slope because that is the number in front of x. So my slope, or m, is equal to -1/2. But my y-intercept, there is nothing there. So what is a number that represents nothing? If I put +0, that represents nothing. We don't usually write +0 because adding 0 to anything doesn't change the value. But because we're trying to find the y-intercept, there is nothing in the spot where b should be. 0 represents nothing, so the y-intercept is 0. Meaning that I would go to wherever I have 0, 0, meaning the origin, and then do my rise over run. Another weird example for slope-intercept form is when you just have x. There is no number in front. And in order to have it in slope-intercept form, there must be an m, a slope. Well, there's always an imaginary 1 in front of every variable. We don't usually write 1x because it's understood that the 1 is there. We always write just a variable. So there is a 1 in front of x, and it's just you have to identify that the 1 exists. So my m, or my slope, is going to equal 1, or 1 over 1 if you're trying to do rise over run. And then your y-intercept will be 5.